This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hi friends, good morning. In this Azure Databricks Master program, so in today's session, we are going to talk about how to create Databricks cluster and a notebook. So we are going to create both the things, how to create the cluster and a notebook. So once we create the notebook, we have a lot of options on notebook. Okay. So we will just go to the all notebook options we can able to explore today. Okay. Let's see in today's session what we will learn. So how to log in into Azure portal already you know. Oh, sorry, you don't know. How to create Azure Databricks that we have seen yesterday. Then today we are going to see creating and configuring cluster in Azure Databricks. We are going to see how to create cluster. Then we are going to talk about how to create notebook. Okay. Then we will see how to detach and attach notebook to another cluster. Anybody remember why we will use notebook? Can you tell me why we will use notebook? What is the purpose of this notebook?
Notebook is to write the code.
Code. Exactly right. So now so notebook is to write the code. So this code we want to execute on what? We need to execute on a cluster. So meaning we need to attach this notebook to this particular cluster. We are going to see how to attach this notebook to the cluster to execute. So sometimes what happens, you will have some temporary issues. Whenever you have some temporary issues, you can quickly detach notebook from the cluster and reattach it. Okay, so these two things we will see. Then we are going to talk about how to export notebook in a different format. Let's say that particular whatever code I have written, that code I want to get it as a Python file. I want to get it as a Databricks archive file. Okay, next I want to get it in a HTML format. So there are different formats you can able to get this particular code. So you can just get it as a Jupyter extension, right? So same notebook you can just export from the Databricks and you can import into Jupyter and you can execute it. Okay. Next we are going to see how to import notebook from a different formats. Let's say you have notebook in your local computer. Now I want to import into my Databricks. How to import this notebook into your Databricks we are going to see. Next we are going to see how to take a copy of this notebook, how to clone notebook, how to take the copy of this particular notebook. Then we are going to talk about how to move notebook. Let's say what I wanted to do, whatever notebook I have in one of the folder, so that is not there in a right folder. Now I need to move this particular notebook to the right folder. So in many occasions you might have come across this situation, right? Maybe the file is not in a correct location. So what we will do, we will just move that particular file into the correct folder, right? So that's what we are going to do. Then we are going to see how to change default language of notebook. Example, I have written a uh, I have created a notebook for Python. Now actually I thought of creating Scala, but by mistake I have created in Python. So now what I can do, how to change the default language of the notebook we are going to see. Then we are going to see how to move the cells, how we can move the cells. Let's say notebook is nothing but a series of cells or commands. These cell maybe I want to move down or up, okay, something like that. I want to reorder it. So how to do that? Then we will see how to create and delete cells. Suppose if you want to create a new cell, new command, how to create it. If you want to delete any command or cell, how to do that. Then we are going to see how to use shortcuts to execute cells. So there are multiple ways to execute the commands or cells. So how to do that? What are the shortcuts that we are going to use? Then we are going to see how to comment code in notebook. So whatever code you have written in notebook, so some of the part you want to comment it. So how to comment it? Then we are going to see all other options available on notebook. So see, if I take like this, there are a lot of options. So all those things we will just go and discuss, because there is no theory in today's session. We are going to do completely practicals. Okay, that's all slides I have. Let's quickly go and create Databricks workspace, then cluster, then notebook. Let's explore the all notebook options. Okay, I am in the like Azure portal. Let me quickly create the Azure Databricks. As you know, I need to click on Azure Databricks. But before that, let's go and check the resource groups. How many resource groups we have? Only one resource group I have. Go to all resources, check how many resources I have. I have only 3 resources: ADF, storage, and keyword. Okay. So you want us to create? Yes, I will tell you. So do not worry. So because today also we are not going to do anything. So maybe next session I will take how to create the like account. Then we will go with the actual practical things. Okay. For now, you don't require, because this, if you create today, it will waste your subscription. That's why I will just tell you the right time to create a subscription. You can just do that. So most of the companies, like if you're working in some of the companies, maybe TCS, DX, Wipro, Infosys, all these companies will provide a something called Microsoft subscription. It's a visual subscription, that is called a visual subscription. If you have that subscription, you can directly practice it, because under that subscription every month you will get 10,000 INR, Indian rupees you'll get. Okay, you can use that. Now let's click on this. Yeah, so I want to create what? Azure Databricks. Okay, you see, just to search it here. Otherwise, you see, you recently accessed these all, so you can just click on Azure Databricks. Click add to create the Azure Databricks.
Malaya, with Microsoft account, you'll have this free points, whatever you said.
Yes. See, subscription, I am using Azure subscription one. Resource group, I want to create my own resource group. You can say click OK. Workspace name, I just give it as a Cloud Pandit. Okay, so Cloud Pandit ADB. Next, in which location? In East US. As we discussed, we have a standard, premium, and trial. So if, whatever you want, you can take. Let's go with the premium so that you will see more options. Okay, role-based access control, all those options you can able to see. Let's select premium. So networking. So if you let's say if you want to connect to the on-premise from Azure Databricks, then you should launch Azure Databricks Workspace within a virtual network. Okay, you need to launch the Azure Databricks Workspace within a virtual network. Okay, for now I am not connecting to the on-premise. Just let's select no. Click tags. Tags is basically key value pairs. Example, created by Cloud Pandit.
What is the use case of that on-prem piece? Any example if you can tell?
To connect to the on-premise, it's a private network. So if you want to connect to the private network, your Databricks also should be there in a virtual network.
Got it.
Just for the security. Okay. So see, it's a key value pair created by Cloud Pandit, and here you can say environment. So dev environment. Okay. So teams. Which teams are using? Data engineers. Something like that. Key value pairs you can able to give here. Okay. Then click review plus create. So you have only these 4 tabs. So it is going to validate all the details that you have given. Now just click create. Submitting deployment. Okay, it is going to execute it. Okay, so it is going to create, as we have seen yesterday. So it is going to create the one storage account, security group, virtual network. Then it is going to create, say, what else? Network watcher, and it will create 2 more resource groups, isn't it? So all those things we will see. It will take some 5 minutes to create. Okay, let's see. Let's go to resources. See, currently there is no resource of pressure. See, there is no resource. These are the resources which I have created previously. Okay, let's wait. see here, Edu Databricks service is up. Other services will come up now. Yeah, see, other services also came. Storage account still creating. So this is the storage which I have created, you see. These are available in the BI master program. You see, you don't have a storage yet, still it is creating. Okay, it will create in some time. The storage account it has created now. See, this is another storage which is created for the Databricks. Now, if you go to the resource groups, it might have created 3 more resource groups. You see, total BI master program is the one which was there previously. Next, I have created this one, Cloud Pandit Databricks master program, and it has created 2 more resource groups, etc. Okay. Now our Databricks workspace is ready. Just click go to resource. Okay, you see here. Suppose I just got this some option, I clicked on that, so I came here. So if you are not there, so you are like this. Okay, first you need to click on this particular Azure Databricks service. So if at all any service already created and it is up and running, you will see something like this. Then click on that, you will come to the same place. Okay, this one. Okay, now click on launch workspace. Okay, so we are here. So as we discussed yesterday, all of these, let's focus on a clusters. Okay, first we need to focus on a cluster. Just click on clusters. So there are multiple ways to go to this option. You just click on this, you see cluster, all other options. Okay, just click on cluster. See your extra, if you go with the premium, see you got some cluster policies. Okay, you can able to just give some kind of a policies basically used to control the access and whom to use. Okay, all those things we will discuss that later, but now I want to create a cluster. How to create the cluster? Okay, just click create cluster. Now you see, do you have any pool here? Just focus on this. Do you have any pool? That's why it is not showing. But if you want to create a pool, come to pool, click create a pool. So here also it is asking the name of the pool. It is asking the name of the pool, so you just give whatever you want to give. The min ideal, so how many instances you want to maintain by default, how many instances you want to maintain in the pool by default. Max capacity, okay, maximum how many you want to increase, maximum how many you want to maintain. One second, this, yeah. So this is the minimum number of instances. This is the maximum number of instances. You see, ideal instance auto termination. So once the computers return to the pool, so once you receive these computers to the pool, in the pool, how much time you want to run them? Okay, after what time you want to shut down from the pool itself? Okay, you can just use here. Okay, let's say 15 minutes. What I'm saying, say I'll just create a one pool. This is, I can say, Cloud Pandit pool, and min ideal resources are, let's say, 3. Okay, oh, I don't want to take those many. There is an issue with this one. The problem is, as we are in a free subscription, we cannot take more than one computer. Okay, so that's why I cannot able to create this pool. So when I have taken pay as you go, I'll just show you. But you see here, this is the pool. Min ideal resources, you can say 1. Max capacity, you can say 1. Okay, understood. So because we cannot take more than one. Next, terminate instance above minimum after 15 minutes, meaning once the computer is returned to the pool, in pool just this computer will be waiting for 15 minutes. Within that 15 minutes, if no cluster is requested for the computer, pool also terminate this particular cluster, this particular computer. Okay, now what kind of computer you want? So what kind of configuration, how many cores you want, how much memory you want in that computer? You see here, standard DS4 V2, how many you want? Okay, so let's say I want 14 GB memory and 4 cores. Preloaded Databricks runtime version. So which version of, so Databricks runtime we discussed, isn't it? So core component we are going to install on the computers. Example, if you want to work on a machine learning, I want to get a machine learning. So then you need to use the 7.5 ML. Okay, if you just click on 7.5 normal, okay, without ML module, you will get genomics. Genomics means biomedical data. If you want to handle, you need to select this. Okay, let me just select this. Yeah, tell me, somebody is asking.
Yeah, Malaya. Instance type you selected standard, right? 14 GB memory and 4 cores. So how do we come to a conclusion that we need this much memory to process our data?
You will not come to know now. You need to wait up to like 60 sessions. So there we are going to discuss so how you are going to decide is based on your data. We are going to decide. So
Okay.
this we decide based on the data, how much data you want to process. See, like based on how much like project, like how much project it is. Based on the project, you are going to hire the employees, isn't it? So you are going to find the resources based on the work. In the same way, based on data, you are going to decide how much memory I need, how many instances I need. Okay.
Yeah. Because in some projects they'll ask for POC, right?
Yes. So depends
So
on data. These things I cannot discuss immediately because you need to
yeah, fine.
understand
That's fine.
other things.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's it. Okay.
I just wanted to know if you're going to discuss further.
Yesterday only I have shown you some of the core parts, right? Core and all those things. Okay. In that architecture, I have shown you. So if you have 2 cores, how many tasks it is going to launch. So because the reason why I cannot explain this, you need to understand Spark complete internals. Okay, what is partition, how the data is partitioning, how many partitions we can maintain, how to decide the number of partitions. Okay, which one is the optimal. So all those things you need to understand to decide this particular instance type.
Malaya, one quick question is 4 cores means 4 nodes or no? That's not a correct understanding.
4 cores means so within a same computer you will have dual core. You might have heard, right? 2 CPUs
Correct.
will have dual core means 4
Right.
cores, 4 CPUs will have in the same computer to achieve the like parallelism.
Got it. Understood.
In the same computer you will have a 4 CPUs. It's not a 4 computers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For now I will give you in high level, but we will discuss in detail. Okay. Okay. Let's click on create this. So it is going to create now. Meanwhile, what we wanted to do, just to come back, let's create a all-purpose cluster. If you go to job cluster, see, there is no create option itself. You see here, there is no create option. The reason is it is not created by you. You cannot create this job cluster as we discussed. Okay. So all-purpose cluster I want to create, just click create cluster. So here you need to give the cluster name. I will say Cloud Pandit demo. Okay, or you can say Cloud Pandit master. Okay, Cloud Pandit master. Now, so you have a cluster modes. Cluster modes means high concurrency standard means, please remember, high concurrency standard means you'll have a multiple computers it will allow. Single node means only one computer will get it. Now you see, when I select a single node, all other options will not be available. All these options will not be available. You see now, I'll just select single. See, auto scaling, all those options is gone. You understood? Now I am just going to the standard again. Now auto scaling option came. See, enable auto scaling came and auto scaling, because standard and high concurrency means multi-node clusters, meaning multiple computers we can have in a cluster. Single node means I want to use only single computer for my entire job. Okay, So you can use single computer, you can use multiple computers, that is completely up to you. Okay, but basically we won't use a single computer. At least we will use 2 to 3 in real time also. But sometimes what happens, I have seen some of my friends who are working for other people, so they will work for organization. Along with that, they will get the projects from outside and they will work. So in that case, the third party agencies, what they will do, they will allow you to create only single cluster. Okay, like sorry, single computer, that is single node cluster. Now up to you which mode you want to select. Okay, now single node means only single computer. You see auto scaling option is gone because it's a single computer. Now if I go with the standard, I have a multi-node. High concurrency means I have a multiple nodes. But what is the difference between high concurrency and standard? So remember, the main difference between high concurrency and standard is high concurrency is used to execute multiple jobs parallelly on a same cluster. You know you want to execute multiple jobs on this cluster parallelly, then you need to select a high concurrency mode. Standard mode means I want to execute maybe multiple jobs, but those are not going to execute parallelly, those are going to execute in a sequence. Then you need to go with the standard. Okay, understood. So but I don't want high concurrency standard, because if you go with high concurrency and standard, so our free subscription it will not support. So let's go with single node. Even though you are going with the single node or multi node, doesn't matter. You just look at here, you have a pool. So you have a lot of option, isn't it? So you just use this particular pool. Okay, you just have to use this particular pool to get this particular computer, Understood. Next, Databricks runtime. Okay, Databricks runtime. Anyhow, we have selected the Databricks runtime within the pool, so same runtime it will take. Next, autopilot option. Okay, autopilot option, you see terminate after 120 minutes of inactivity, meaning, can you tell me what it means in a cluster level? Terminate after 120 minutes of inactivity. So we just discussed in the pool. Can you guess it and tell me in the cluster level?
It will go to the pool.
Yes, computer will be returned to the pool if you are not submitting any job on a cluster for about 120 minutes. But I don't want to maintain this much time. I'll just maintain maybe let's say I just wanted to maintain some 40 minutes. Okay, clear?
So Malaya, so if we choose high concurrency cluster here, and if I choose only one node in the pool, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yes, that's why. So direct option they have given. See here, one node means you need to disable this, then you need to say 0 here, because already you have some driver node. What is driver worker you will come to know, but you have already driver, so workers you should take 0. Okay, so that's why it will not make any sense if you take 0 nodes, like one node if you go with high concurrency standard. So that's why I'm going with the single. Okay, let's select this pool, Databricks runtime version, all this. Okay, let's click create cluster. Now cluster will take some time to create. Yeah, tell me.
Malaya, I think the option that you had is terminate after X number of minutes is not to put the VM to the pool, but rather it is, if it is inactive, then it will terminate it so that you don't incur a cost. Is that right understanding that I have?
See, it will not terminate. So as you are using pool, so from the cluster, computer will be returned. Computer will be returned to the pool. Okay.
Okay, and how can we check that? Do you have a way by which I can check it if it goes to pool or it gets terminated?
So you just have to go to the pool, click on this pool. Okay, you see here used is 1, idle is 0, max capacity is 1. See, to this particular cluster, this pool is attached. Now you can able to see here how many are in used, how many are in idle. So idle means how terminated things you can able to see here.
Okay. And while the cluster is getting created, one more question. So you said that there are two types. One is the all-purpose, and other one is for the jobs. So
Yes.
if it is a high concurrency one, which is a premium one, so with this high concurrency, if I have to run, if let's say for any point in time, I have 5 jobs that are running, so it will create the cluster every time for each job. It will rather run it on the same high concurrency cluster and not create the cluster every time the job runs. However, in the standard, it will create every time the job runs. Is that right?
Okay, so what you can do in a same notebook, from same notebook, so you are going to schedule a maybe what you do, you have created some Python files, you have one notebook. From that particular notebook, you can use a multi-threading concept to run multiple notebooks at same time. So all these multiple notebooks are going to run on a same cluster at same time, whether you are using a job cluster or all-purpose cluster, doesn't matter. But when you use multi-threading, multiple notebooks, you are going to call at same time. In that case, all those things are going to run on a same computer, like same cluster in all purpose and job cluster. Even in job cluster also, it will not create a multiple job clusters, it will create a same cluster.
Okay, I understand. So if there is no multi-threading being implemented in the notebook, then I will not be able to run multiple jobs on the same cluster, right?
Multiple, you can run it by using all purpose, but by using job cluster, you cannot do that. Because job cluster, whenever you schedule it, so every time it is going to create a new one. But all purpose means you are going to tell, okay, I want to use this particular cluster. Okay, just come to the jobs. I will show you, because you are asking a lot of questions on this. Not only you, many people. Let me clarify that. See, I want to create a job. Just click create a job. So yeah, we don't have any notebook. If you have any notebook, you need to just select the notebook. If you have any jar file or any Python file, next you need to select the cluster. Okay, just click edit here. So here you see you want, so by default it is a new job cluster. It is going to create a new job cluster every time, but you don't want to use new job cluster. I want to go with the existing all-purpose cluster. You just have to select existing all-purpose cluster. So then what is the existing all-purpose cluster? This is the one you need to select and confirm it. Okay, but you see by default when you click edit, so what you are seeing here, new job cluster. Okay, what you are seeing here, new job cluster. Understood? Okay.
Yeah, Malaya,
But
I understand.
now one more thing, high concurrency will not be available for the job cluster. Understood? Job cluster will not have high concurrency. You see whether you have that option. You see, do you have any option like that? Okay, multiple jobs you cannot execute on a job cluster at the same time. Okay, because every time it is going to create a new one, but multi-threading you can use to do that. You can attach multiple notebooks to the same cluster if it is all purpose, but if it is a job cluster, every time it is going to create a new cluster. Understood now at least, friends? Got clarity?
Yeah. But then, if I have 100 jobs that will run over a period of time in a complete day, then for 100 jobs, it will create the cluster 100 times and remove the cluster 100 times. It is so.
See, that's what I mentioned. Based on your requirement, you need to decide whether you want all purpose or job cluster. If you have 100 jobs which are going to execute one by one immediately or parallelly, why you need to go for job cluster? You need to go for the all purpose cluster. That's what I said, right?
Okay.
Now, any other questions, friends? Any other question? Okay, fine. Now, let me just move on to the notebook. See, notebooks you can create in a multiple ways. Just click on this workspace, click on users. This is the cloudpandit@gmail.com. So here, what I wanted to do, I want to create a new notebook. Click create notebook. Okay, maybe you want to maintain some folder, you just create a folder here. Okay, this you can say master program, create a folder. Okay, this is the folder. Now inside this particular master program, click here, create. I want to create the notebook. Okay, inside this master program folder, I want to create the notebook. So you can say Cloud Pandit master demo. Okay, so this is what, in which language you want. See, you can create notebook in a multiple languages as we discussed in earlier slides. So Python, Scala, SQL and R. Let's just click Python to create a Python. If you want to create a Scala, you just have to select Scala. If you want a SQL, SQL. If you want R, R. Let's go with the Python, click create. Okay, I am here. Now this notebook, let's say, so do not worry about what kind of code I am writing, because you may or may not know this particular code. Just think as a, there is something called variable which is going to hold this particular data. If you know any language, you will come to know this. Okay, but if it is a Java and C++, you need to tell what is the data type of this particular variable, what kind of data you are assigning to this variable A, isn't it? But in Python and Scala, these are a dynamically typed languages which will infer the data type automatically. Okay, even in Scala also, the data types will be inferred automatically. We no need to provide what is the data type of this variable A. Okay, let's say I have something. First option is here, you see something called detach and attach. I want to execute this particular cell. How to execute it? Okay, before you execute this notebook, what you need to do is you need to attach this notebook to the cluster. For that, click on this option. We have something called this cluster. Just click on that cluster, confirm. That's all. You see, it is cluster is available. Okay, now I want to run it. You see, for running, shift plus enter to run. This is the shortcut. But there are multiple ways to do that. You can just say shift and enter. So it is executed and it has given the new cell. Okay, it has created the new cell. Try to understand. So there are a lot of options will be covered at once. So I just attached this notebook to this cluster and I executed this particular cell with the help of a shift and enter. Let's say now I have name equal to Cloud Pandit. Name equal to Cloud Pandit. This is the variable, this is the name. Okay, so now I want to execute, but without creating the new cell or command, I want to execute this. Then you need to use control enter. Control and enter. Please note down these shortcuts, friends, because those things you will not be able to find. Some things you can able to find. See, shortcuts, how to find this? Shift plus enter to run. Just click on the shortcuts to see all the shortcuts which you have available. You see, control enter just to run a command. Shift enter just to run command and move to next cell. Move to next cell means it is going to create the new cell. If it is not available, if it is available, it will just go to the next cell. Shift plus enter means it will execute current cell and it will go to the new one. Control plus enter means it will just execute the cell. Okay, shortcuts, if you want to know, you can able to understand from here. Now you understood these two. Okay, now I want to detach from this. Okay, can you tell me, whoever knows, can you tell me, when I access A, what is the value I will get it?
10.
10, very good.
28.
See how to run this particular cell with the option says, you can see here, you just say run cell, meaning only this particular cell will run. Okay, now I want to run all the above cells. Let's say from Cloud Pandit, I want to execute all the above cells. Then you need to say run all above, meaning except current cell, all other cells, all upper cells will execute. Now, along with the current cell, I want to run all below cells. Then you need to say click on this, click run all below. Current cell plus all below cells will execute. Now you see A equal to 10, it is made. Okay. Now I want to detach this particular notebook from the cluster. Detach means I don't want to execute this notebook on this cluster. I want to execute on some other cluster. First, you need to detach it. For that, just click on detach. Okay, it is gone. See, cluster is not showing. Now, if you try to access, okay, now what I wanted to do, but if I want to execute any cell, again, I need a cluster, right? Let me just attach the same cluster or new cluster, whatever you want to do, you do. Now, if I access A, what will happen?
No value, no result.
I will get error. The reason is cluster already forgot all these things which you have executed earlier, because you just detached and reattached. Whenever you detach and reattach, you need to execute all these cells. How to execute all these commands is we have an option here. You see run all cells in this notebook. Click on this. See all these things, it is executed. Okay. Till here, are you fine? Now, how
Yes,
to
Malay.
create new? Tell me. Tell me. Okay.
We are fine, I said.
Okay. See now. Click on this, you have a lot of options. If you want to create a new notebook on the fly directly from this notebook, you can create. Okay, click new notebook. This I can say demo one. Okay, it's a demo. This is a demo one. In which language? Maybe you want to write it, create in a Scala or Python, whatever you want to do, you can do, and click create. See, another notebook is created directly. Okay, you are in some other notebook. You got to know that you need to work on some other functionality. Instead of coming here and search for other options to create notebook, you can directly create the notebook from options. Okay, now click on recents to see recently accessed notebooks. These are the notebooks I have accessed recently. Click on this. Okay, I'm here. Now click on this, clone it. Clone means I want to take the copy of this. Just click on this. So I want to keep this in a, I'm just renaming it as a demo 3. Then click clone. Now you see I have demo 3 as well, but demo 3 exactly same as the demo. Now click on recent to see all these 3 notebooks. Yes, understood, right? Now click on this. I want to rename this notebook. Click on rename. You can say Cloud Pandit Master Demo. Instead of 3, I can say backup. Already it is there, demo, but it's just a backup. I renamed. Understood? Now click on this. I want to, let's say, come to workspace. Okay, you see you have a master program. Okay, I have a training asset.
Malaya?
Yes.
So you're giving default language, right, while creating notebook, but we can still execute other
Other
language like
languages. Please wait, friends. We will discuss everything. You just have to wait some time. Okay. I'm just discussing one by one. Everything will cover. Wait. Now just see
Malaya.
the backup. Now what happened? You come to workspace. You see your training assets. Something I've created the folder. Oh shit! I created the notebook or what? One second. Let me just. Move to trash. Basically, I want to execute it. See, click on this, click create. I want to create a folder. Folder name is training assets. Okay, this is the new folder I have. Whatever, like here backup file I have, this backup notebook I want to move from master program to the training asset folder. How to do that? We'll see. Go to recents, click on this backup notebook, click on this. We have something called move. Just click on move. So to which folder? So training asset, select training asset, then just click select. Okay, now let's go to the workspace. See, in training asset, Cloud Pandit master demo is there. In master program folder, that particular file is not available. That particular file is not available. Okay, understood. See, some of the files I have out of this particular folder, those are not required. Those are just a testing files. I want to delete those things. Okay, go to that notebook, click on this, we have other option called move to trash. I want to delete this notebook. Just click move to trash. Okay, gone. That is gone. Now come to workspace. You see that particular file is not showing here. Go to master program. Okay, Cloud Pandit master demo training asset. We have this. But if you go to trash, you have the two files which have deleted just now. Okay, trashed. These are in a trashed folder. Now I want to delete these two things immediately, permanently. Okay, click on this. You can say delete immediately. So those you cannot able to get it. Okay, so maybe next 30 days, if you want to retain it back, you can able to do that. Okay, so if whatever files you have in trash, those will be deleted automatically in 30 days if you are not restoring them back, or if you are not collecting them back. Okay, now we covered some of the parts. Let's go inside this folder. Let's select on this particular file. Now we have seen creating new notebook, taking the copy, renaming the notebook, moving the notebook from one place to one folder to another folder, moving the notebook to the trash folder to delete it. Now I want to upload data. Upload data means you are uploading data into the data management, Databricks file system. For that, we have direct option to upload data. Just click on upload data. Okay, you can just see file uploaded to DBFS are accessible by everyone who has access to this workspace. You just browse it. Let's say go to desktop, Cloud Pandit datasets, go to some comma separated. Let's take some cust1.csv. Okay, this is the file. Just click next. Okay, so how to read this particular file? See, that file is uploaded. For reading that particular file, for reading that particular file, it is showing cust1.csv. Okay, how to read that CSV file? Spark.read.format of CSV.load. So this is how you can able to load that particular file. Okay, in which language you want code? So you want in R, Scala, Panda. So you can also generate the code automatically. Okay, if you just want to take the copy, you can take file API format. It is just a folder, it will show. Okay, but Spark API means in Spark how to read this particular file, that particular enter code will come. Okay, so whatever you want, you just have to take it. Okay, now so I'm not sure whether I copied. Yes, I copied, so I can able to paste it here. That's how you can able to use this option to upload the data. Okay, this is the new option which came. Now that's why it's a new. Now I want to export this particular notebook, maybe for I want to store this particular code forever, so I want to export. So how to export? Click export. We have a different file format. See, you have Databricks, okay, DB, Databricks archive, okay, Databricks archive format. You can use .dbc. Source file. If it is a Scala, .scala will come. If it is a Python .py file will come, right? So source file means this data will be exported as a .py. So IPython means Jupyter extension will come. HTML means HTML extension will come. Let's quickly do one by one. Okay, let me just see here. .dbc came. Just click on this. Again, click source file. Source file means just a .py file. You see, it's harm, but you see .py file came. Next, I want in a Jupyter extension IPython notebook. You see IPYNB, okay, for extension. Just click on this, click HTML, so you can able to see the HTML extension. Okay, you just open any of these, you can able to see the code. So just right click on this, click edit with Notepad++. Okay, this is a notebook, that's why it is showing like this. But if you open your plain Python file, you will come to know exactly neat and clean data it will show, because other extensions you will not be able to read properly. See, this DBs, it's archived, that's why you will not be able to understand anything. But HTML also, it will be neat and clean, you can able to understand. See, lot of HTML content, unnecessary part is there. Now let's say you know something like name equal to, just search it here. They need to start. But you understood, right? Ultimately, whatever format you have doesn't matter. Various content. It will show the content, okay? But this is the Databricks notebook name. What is the name I have given here? Name equal to Cloud Pandit only I have given, right? So I am not able to see. In 3 places.
Search for A is equal to 10, you will get it.
1 sec. A equal to 10 also I'm not getting. Okay, but okay, so it is difficult for you to analyze. What you can do now, I just wanted to like import these notebooks again. Okay, so there is no option to import here. You see, there is no option to import here, right? So what you can do, you come here, okay, maybe create a new folder, imported files, okay, create a folder, imported files, go inside this particular imported files, click on this. We have an option called import. Just click on import, click browse. Okay, now you just go to the download. So today dates, right? Today means, see, these are the files. Just let's select one by one HTML. Import it. See, this is again came, okay, properly. But next, come here. I want to just to rename these things, okay, so that you will not have any issue when you are importing. You will not have any conflicts, right? So that's why I'll just rename it. But if you're not able to understand anything, we have a community action. You can able to import and you can able to check it. Okay. Now just click here to import the maybe next type of file, that is HTML is done. IPython notebook I'm just importing, just import it. So you got the backup one. Okay, that's how we have renamed. Now click here, import, browse it, select this py file, .py file, Python file also you can able to import it. You see it's a backup to same content, because same content we have in all of this. Next, import this option, browse it. Next we have a DBC format, import it. So we have here also same options, isn't it? Okay, so you just go to workspace, you see all the files which are having a like it's just a backup files we have imported from different formats, HTML, other things, right? So now we have covered up to till here. Now let's go to clear revision history. As I mentioned earlier, it is going to mention a versioning. So just click on this. So this is the one which I have imported just now, isn't it? So but let's go to the one which we have created earlier. This is the one, just click on this. You see there is a lot of versions it has created. Now I want to clear all these things. I want to remove this. Then what you need to do, just click on this, clear revision history, clear, yes, clear. Now come here and see you don't have anything. This is a fresh one. Okay, you removed all the history. Understood? That you can able to do. Now somebody is asking like how to change the default language. So this is the Python. I want to change the default language, then change default language. Click here, see which language you want to go. Scala, SQL, or I want to go as Scala. Just change it. Okay, what happened? Why this percentile symbols came? Percentile Python, because the reason is before you change the default language to Scala, you have written some code. This code is in a Python, so it understood that this particular code I need to execute in a Python. Even though notebook is Scala, you can execute some of the commands as a Python. So how to do that? By using a magic commands. These are called magic commands. Python, percentile Python, you can use. Okay, now if you want to execute let's say SQL, then you need to say percentile SQL, select current underscore date, execute it. Okay, so today date, if you want to get something like this, even you can execute the percentile SQL means SQL, percentile Python means Python. Okay, but if I click on this, so what is the cell, which code I can execute by default without using magic command? Can you tell me quickly what language code I can execute? Scala. Okay, the reason is by default notebook, the default language for this notebook is Scala. That's why you can execute the Scala. Okay, see, a equal to 10 means it will throw error. It will throw error. The reason is for Scala, you need to mention whether the variable is a mutable or immutable, val a equal to 10. So see, the data type I have not given, automatically it is inferring. So it is possible you can write it in a Scala, Python in any language. In a single notebook, you can write all types of language code. Okay, so I completed all these options. Let's move on to the next options. Okay,
Malaya,
so
Malaya, when you click on the change default language, can we do at the if you go to the notebook Cloud Pandit master demo, in bracket Scala is there. If I click there only we can change. Is there any possibility?
Yes, see, we have option, but what I'm doing, see, I can able to show you multiple ways to open the shortcuts and all these things. Okay, let's say if you click on this, shortcuts you can open. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to cover one by one like this boxes, so that you will have clarity. He has covered all the options, then he has covered all these options, because I see like I cannot able to complete everything today. Seems we need to spend some more time extra today. Okay, by 7:30 I may not be able to finish. That's why I'm just showing first whatever options we have. See, these are simple options, but I just wanted to show you at least one option so that it will be useful. So let's say shortcuts we have seen from here. So here also somewhere you can able to use shortcuts. See, here also shortcuts you can. There will be a lot of options, but you just have to understand at least one way how to do this particular. Let's say somebody came to you and he told, can you rename the notebook? So you should know at least how to rename. Okay, fine, we covered this. Let's come to this. Now you see, I want to cut this particular cell and I want to paste it somewhere, maybe. Okay, so for that, click on this cut cell. I just cut it, right? So once you cut, you want to undo means what? I cutted that, I want to paste it as is wherever it was previously. Now undo means same place it came back. Okay, it's kind of a rollback you are doing. Now cut cell, I want to paste it here. Okay, here somewhere, just click on this. Okay, I got it here. But now what I wanted to do, this particular cell I want to move. See, a I am accessing here, so anyhow, that's why this a equal to 10 I want to move little bit up. So then what we do, just click on this. We have something called move cells up. Okay, now this particular cell also I want to like take it down. Okay, for that click on this, move cell down. Okay, click on this, move cell down. Okay, something like this. You understood, right? Move cell up, move cell down. Next, you just have seen cut cell and undo cell. Copy. Okay, let's say I just copy. Okay, you just keep the cursor here. Click on this, copy cell. I just copied. I want to paste it. For that, you just keep the cursor here. Now go to this option. You have something called paste cell above. So whatever I copied equal to 10, this I want to paste above or below to this cell. Paste this cursor. If you want to paste it above, you just say paste above. Okay, it came. Now I want to paste same content below, then you need to say paste cell below. Okay, now this is all clear. Delete cell, I want to delete this particular cell. Just click on this, click delete cells. This also I want to delete, then just delete cells. Okay, now you select all cells. Okay, I just selected all these cells. What you want to do with all these cells? Maybe you want to copy all these cells. Maybe you want to copy all these cells and paste it again, some clone I want to do that. Then you need to say, I just copy, right? You can say paste all cells below. Okay, now see what happened. 1 second. Oh, sorry, you just selected, right? We have not copied. So after selecting all, you just copy. Then now what you can do, you can just say paste all cells below. 10 plus 10, so you'll get total 20 cells. You got totals 20 cells. Okay. Next, find and replace. Let's say I want to replace Cloud Pandit with maybe online training. Okay, just say online. Instead of Cloud Pandit, I will say Cloud Pandit trainings I want to replace. Okay, you just say Cloud Pandit. I want to replace with Cloud Pandit online. Okay, just say replace. You understood? Wherever you have a Cloud Pandit, it is just replaced with Cloud Pandit online. Cloud Pandit online. Everywhere. You see 2 times I just pasted here. That's why 2 times Cloud Pandit online came. Understood? So Cloud Pandit online, it came. Okay, replace if you want to do. Next, format SQL cells. Okay, format SQL cells means basically if you have any SQL code, I'll just tell you quickly. Percentage. It's basically for the SQL, not for other languages. Select current underscore date. Okay, let's execute it. Now you just select this, come here, you just say format SQL cells. See, it is going to format it properly. It will increase the readability. Okay, it will increase the readability. This is how you can able to do that. Finally, set Python indentation. Set Python indentation means, so you need to understand Python a little bit. You see, if this is basically for the Python, if a equal to 10, okay, I will say print a. Okay, this is the wrong basically. Just to select this, select, keep your cursor here, come here, you can say set Python indentation. Oh, this is basically in Scala, right? So first you need to change it to the Python. Okay, it's a Python now. So come here, click on this, you can say set Python indentation. What is happening? Oh,
Is this the option for entire page?
1 second, that's what I just wanted to check. 1 second. I just change it to the Python, okay? Because we need to focus on Python only mainly. So where is that which I've written? Okay, let me just write it again. It's a Python, right? So let's say okay, I'll just tell you this is a Python. What did I say? Let's execute this. See, indentation error expected an indented block, right? So I will tell you what is this indentation, but it will take some time. What is this option? So this is a new option came. So I'll just look at this option and let you know by tomorrow or something. Okay, fine. Now come to here. These are also very important options. You see standard. Standard means like this. We have a cell and a result. Okay, you have a command here, result here. Okay, standard means. Let's go with results only. You will not be able to see any code. You will see only result. So there is no use of seeing only result. Next, side by side. You want to see code here, result here. See code here, result here. Code here, result here. Then you need to say side by side. Hide line numbers. You see 1, 2. You see here 1, 2. Let's say if you are writing more code here, a equal to 10. Okay, something like this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I want hide line numbers. Numbers will go. You will not get those numbers 1, 2. Now you have command numbers CMD5, CMD6. Those things also, if you want hide, you need to hide command numbers. See, those are also gone. But those are useful. So you say show line numbers. You know in each command how many lines you have written. Show command numbers. It will be easy for you to understand which cell is failing or what is the problem. Okay. Now this result also, it will be very clumsy if you have a result next to next. So you can say standard. Standard means you have a command, result will come down. Okay, that is all about this. Show table of content. Okay, show table of content means you see here you can able to, I think so it's a MD. So what you can do, you can just write about all this particular cell what we have done. Okay, it's basically table content. How we have an index, right? What index will tell you what you have in this particular book. In the same way, you can just create this particular show table of content. So you just whatever content you have maintained, that entire thing will come. But I will tell you how to maintain that content next. Just here you can see you can review, comment, attach, detach, right? See, you have a permissions here as we have created it from the what, from you have created this particular Databricks workspace from the premium. So you'll have all these options: read, run, edit, manage, whom to give permissions, all users, or you have specific user. Okay, let's say I'll say I don't have any users as of now. Okay, but if I have any user, I can just say all users what permission I want to grant. So for all users, I just want to read, run, edit, manage. Okay, what permissions you want to give, you can just give all those things. Okay, so permissions you can able to control it by using this option, but this option will be disabled if you create it through standard pricing tier, not a premium. Next, run all, we just completed run all. Next, click here. So if you want to clear the results, you see you have results. If you want to clear results, you'll have only the code. Okay, clear state means code also will be deleted. Okay, let's just say clear state. Oh, sorry. So clear state means, so 1 second, I'll just tell you. Okay, let's go to the next notebook. So it will be difficult for you to understand there. So the simplest example I will give you. When I access A, okay, just click run all. Attach this notebook and run it. So notebook is ran A equal to 10. Now when I say clear state means, so if I access A equal to 10, A is undefined, you will get. The reason is state, whatever variables, whatever you set, those all things you are disabling. Okay, you are just resetting. Clear statements, you are resetting the variables, everything. Okay, clear state and results means, see, I have this results, right? That results plus state, both I want to clear, then you can say this. So clear state means, let's say currently you don't have anything, but you have executed A equal to 10. Okay, so A you are accessing, 10 you got. Now what I wanted to do, I want to reset all these things and I want to run once again. Then you have an option called clear state and run on. Okay, it just removed the previous state and it is executed again. Okay, these are the different options here. This is basically a shortcut. Okay, next, if you want to schedule any job, you can able to schedule it from here. Just give me some time.
Okay.
See, this is the variable, right? Just select this. If you want to give any comment, click on this to give a some comment. Okay, I just what happened? Select a code. I selected. Click on this, so I can say this is a variable. I can able to give some kind of a comments. Okay, So if somebody is not able to understand some functionality, they can able to see any comments is there for this particular functionality. They will come to know, okay, this is a variable something. If you have any machine learning model, those execution details you will have here. So here it is the history. This is basically history. Okay, yeah, tell me. Somebody is asking them.
Yeah, Malaya, when you set the state, I noticed it that the cluster will detach and reattach it. Can you please
Yes,
do
that's
it
why
again?
it is resetted, right?
Yeah,
So state is
yeah,
resetting what? Basically, all the things you are going to reset it. Meaning,
yes,
whatever variables you have defined, all those things will be resetted. How to reset it? So you need to detach from the cluster
yes.
and reattach. So that's
Thank you,
what will
thank you.
happen.
Yeah, thanks, Malaya. That's what I just want. Thank you.
So 2 more minutes, not more than that. See, all the options we already completed. Just I wanted to show you. You see, run cell, run all above, run all below, you know already. Here you see cut cell, all these things you know already, isn't it? Hide code. Suppose if I want to hide this code, you can just hide this code. Okay, show code, you can able to. This result I want to hide. We have option called hide results. Okay, result is hidden. Just show results. Okay, so all other options like add cell below, add cell above, paste, all these things we completed. Now I want to minimize this. Then you need to click on this. Okay, it is minimizing. How we will minimize the tab? In the same way, just click plus to maximize. I want to delete this particular cell. So you have seen some options in this options, but if you want to delete this cell, you have direct option here, cross mark. Just click on this, click confirm to delete. Okay, this is basically user profile. So where you have user settings, admin console, manage all this. Okay, clear if you want to sign out anything. Any questions in this particular session, friends? Okay.
Yes, sir. Question. Malaya, what is the premium charge that you get it? I wanted to create a
Those things
cluster.
I will discuss. Those things I will discuss. Suppose you want immediately to understand, just to go to the pricing calculator Azure. Okay. Just click on this. So you want immediately just to go here and look at here the details. Okay. So suppose I want Databricks. Okay. Just search here Databricks. Okay. This is the one, isn't it? You just click on this. It will give you the details. Okay, it will give you the details. So if you have selected instance type is something A6, 4 cores 28 GB, okay, some temporary storage 285 GB, you will get it. Component is basically Spark, you need to select Spark. See, Mishra, please be in mute. See, you have 2 instances, you are using 1 hour. Okay, so for this, you need to make a $1.01. Okay, 9 instances, 2 hours, 28.41. So you just have to look at here how these things are going to change. Okay, so that premium, those things I'll just discuss. Okay, but if you want immediately to understand few things, you can able to understand from here. This website will tell you all the options. Okay, here some settings will be there. You just have to change those things to understand you are in a premium or where you are in storage transactions. We have some options. You just look at here. Premium, I'll just look at these options, but you just explore these options. So not only for the Databricks, for any Azure resource, if you want to understand the pricing, you just have to come here and you need to look at this. Okay, so somewhere
Thanks for that. It was mainly for, you have 3 options, right? Premium, standard, and trial version 14 days. So I just wanted to check what.
You just have to worry about standard and premium. Okay.
Right. So standard and premium, we have to check it from this link, right? Price calculator.
Pricing calculator.
So for the premium or the standard kind of subscription, I have to check the pricing calculator here on this link, the one that you're showing.
Yes. Yes. See, it's basically you will have some option here. You see, I think this is the option. So you just have to change these things. This is basically for storage, right? In the same way for the cluster also, you'll have some option here. You just look at that option. If you are not able to find, I will just tell you. Okay.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay, then. That's all for today, friends. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.